Hello, my diligent students. I'm going to go through your human rights tree assignment. You'll see the rubric, that's how you're going to get graded, and we'll look at some examples together. Okay, first up, your rubric. Your rubric is made up of 5 different areas, and each of these areas is worth 10 points. So your human rights tree needs to have 12 human rights used in the branches. Each branch needs to have one leaf that helps describe the human right. You need to use correct spelling. Everything you do needs to be done in either colored pencil, pen, or marker, no pencil. You can do your rough draft in pencil and then go over it in one of these 3, but no pencil on your final product. And then you need to be neat and have some creativity. So this assignment's going to be worth 50 points, and you'll get out of 10 for each of the criteria. So let's talk about 6th grade coloring before we look at the examples. 6th grade coloring is a way of coloring very neatly and in a controlled way so that your coloring is precise looking. This top tree is an example of 6th grade coloring. This bottom tree is an example of, let's say, maybe 1st or 2nd grade coloring. Kind of rushed, not very thoughtful, not very pleasing to look at. As 6th graders, you should take your time when you color things so that they look nice. A criteria for 6th grade coloring is over here. You can read that on your own. Here's example 1. It's a nice, pleasing tree to look at. Some scribbliness in some areas. If the student had slowed down a little bit, maybe we wouldn't have had the scribbliness. But there's 12 human rights used. Every branch has a leaf. He added some drawings down at the bottom that make it really pleasing to look at. He didn't remember to go over his clouds in pen or marker, so he probably lost some points for having pencil on this. But overall, it's a nicely done tree. Here's example 2. Lots more than 12 human rights used, and every branch has a leaf. It's really easy to read what she wrote. She added some creativity with the background, which is really nice. Example 3, a little bit more scribbly. You can tell the difference between the previous examples coloring and this coloring. So there's areas where he pressed a lot harder with his pencil and areas where he didn't press very hard at all. And you can see the difference in what that looks like. So this coloring down here is pretty nice looking and then a little bit scribbly in some areas. So he did meet all of the criteria, but he probably lost a couple points for not being super careful with his coloring. He also spelled declaration wrong. Make sure you don't have any spelling errors. Example 4 is very easy to read. There's a spelling error right here, but the coloring is beautiful. She really took her time. You can read her writing on her branches, but it's a little bit harder to read what she wrote on the leaves. So keep that in mind if you're going to go over it in marker, that if the marker's really thick, it's going to be hard to read what you wrote if you're writing very small. Okay, next up are some close-ups. There they are. So here are the first two trees zoomed in a little bit so that you can see how people wrote on the branches and in the leaves. You can even read some of their leaves to give you ideas. Nice, clear, easy to read handwriting that was gone over in pen. And same with this one, though the handwriting is a little small, you kind of have to really peer at it to see what he wrote. But if you can hold it up closer to your face like I can, because I have the example, it is easy to read. He should have capitalized universal, declaration, and human rights since it is a proper noun because it's a document. But overall, each of these is a good example of how to create your human rights tree. I hope that you found this helpful. You can come back to this slideshow to look at the trees in more depth if you want some inspiration, but remember your final product needs to be from your own brain.